Hey y'all, this is Rebecca.
And I am Megan. Together we are Larkin Poe.
And you're listening to Retrospectives with John Broughton
on KC Radio 97.7 FM.
Nope, let's knock it out. Let's go ahead and do it.
We're good to go. Okay. Well, to begin with, tell us about your Grammy night experience.
It was our first nomination, and we received a nomination for Best Contemporary Blues Record, and it was incredibly exciting. We are hardcore indie, so we certainly didn't expect to get the nomination, but to get it, I think, being really hardcore independent, it meant that much more to us and our team to have received that recognition. We went to LA and our parents came and our husbands came and we had a big old time, and we didn't take home the award, but we had such an incredible experience, and we're so appreciative of, getting to actually get our little medals. They gave us these little gold Grammy nominee medals, and so they're now hanging up in our home studios, and we couldn't be happier.
Oh, that's awesome. Were you happy with the categorization, Best Contemporary Blues?
Absolutely. I think there is a renaissance for roots American music that is taking place right now. I think people are seeking out music that has substance and weight, and I do think that the blues is one of the more underrated source musics that there are, and being at the Grammys under that umbrella, I think felt very gratifying, because we are definitely fringe blues music, I would say, but we have been so thoroughly welcomed by the blues community. I mean, open arms we have been received in, and to be part of that blues family, I think, is really important, especially given our Southern heritage, and being able to sort of act as ambassadors for music that is really important and has served so much good to so many people over the years.
Certainly nobody would dare label you a traditional blues band. You certainly give it a 21st century edge, which must be turning a lot of young people onto the blues, a style of music they may not have considered before. You must take a sense of pride in that.
Again, we love the idea of bringing kind of young people to this genre, because I think that it's not something young people will maybe come across often, but when they do, it seems like they really latch onto it. As we have a lot of young people come to our shows, and they're rabid fans, and they love the music.
Now, you began professionally as the Lovell sisters in a bluegrass style with the third sister, Jessica. Looking back now, do you think you would still travel the same path musically to where you are now had you stayed as the three of you in the Lovell sisters, or did you need that rebranding?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. You can't rewrite history, but I would like to think that we would have wound up in a similar spot. I mean, all three of us sisters, we do share a very deep connection in music, and we grew up listening to the same stuff and having the same influences. And our eldest sister, she decided to opt out of the band based solely on the lifestyle, because the life of a touring musician is very challenging in a lot of ways, just being gone, and it's definitely a lifestyle more than it is a job. Even. Yeah. So it was a separation that I think served her personally for her own life path, which wound up being a really great thing, because then it did allow Megan and I the opportunity to kind of rethink and travel some paths we may not have as the Lovell sisters. But all in all, I mean, it has been a long journey, but one of the most exciting things. It never grows old, because we truly love what we do. And, you don't love it all the time. Like, it's just like any other job. There are certain angles of it that, you maybe could do without. Having to fly to India this coming Wednesday, I might could do without, the 15-hour flight. But even so, it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah. Now, there isn't a great age difference between the two of you. So growing up together and both loving music, were you both influencing each other with your musical tastes?
Oh, Megan.
Definitely. I mean,
where we ever?
We're only 20 months apart. So we definitely grew up on top of each other, like a very codependent. Like we were called the girls. It was never Megan or Rebecca. We were always like a package deal, and we're still a package deal. But I think we definitely influenced each other heftily. Like when Rebecca was picking up mandolin and guitar, I was doing the same thing, and just happened to you watch a dobro be played for the first time. And that's when I split up. But we were definitely kind of doing the same things at the same time, following the same path.
I like the saying "cut from the same cloth," but I think in our case we actually mean the same cloth. Like coming from the same family and having shared such distinct memories together all these years, I think that really plays into our chemistry as well. And there's no one that I respect more than my sister, so we're very lucky to be able to be in a duo together and share that kind of a connection.
Being so close and having that connection, it must give you a great advantage on stage, particularly communicating with each other in a performance situation.
That's one of the most fun things about playing together as sisters, is because I can catch a side look from her and I know exactly what she's going to do, especially when we're doing duo gigs. It's just so much fun because there's this communication and a language that passes between us that you don't even realize it's happening until it's already happened, and it's really special and super fun.
It is something as well, though, that has grown with time, because I can remember early gigs when I had picked up guitar and we were weaving around each other on stage, but I would actually, like 2 or 3 times, I would wind up smacking Megan in the head with my guitar, the headstock, and it was very ungainly. So I mean, of course, everybody has to go through growth spurts, but
I haven't been smacked in the head with a guitar headstock in quite some time.
It's been years. Thankfully, we're
moving forward.
That's good.
No more concussions. No more concussions.
As you mentioned, you're proudly independent, and the advantages of that are obvious, but giving you the freedom to do things as you like. But what are some of the pitfalls that you found in being independent musicians?
Ooh, I think it's a lot less glamorous, than you might like. I mean, I've seen many premises of TV shows that talk about, the record industry, and you see people fighting on the streets for their independent music, and it's really hard work. We have a very tight team of people that we work with and who have been working with us for a long time. It's, our managers and our agents, and they have all been really supportive of us in deciding that we do want to be independent, because you're right, the pros far outweigh the cons in that we are allowed creative freedom, and being able to produce our own records and to figure out exactly what we want the art to look like, and to build a marketing plan, and to be involved in every decision without outsourcing any of those decisions to anybody else. I think we feel that much more passionate about the process, and I think that our fans can feel that as well. It's, something that comes from a very personal place, but it does require a lot of work. And I think in that regard, we're really, really thankful that we have such supportive people on our team to help us, move the boulder up the hill, as it were.
But I guess the main thing you don't have to deal with is the compromise of having to maybe change your style a bit to suit a record company's demands.
It's true. We, when we were 14, 15 years old, actually, Megan, maybe we were 15, 16. I think I may have been 15, 16, and you were maybe 16, 17. Thereabouts, we came to Nashville and had a bunch of record labels that were kind of sniffing around and interested in signing us to a deal. And even at that point in time, I think at that age, it didn't feel right. It didn't sit well with our gut to be bubblegum in the way that I think a lot of record labels would have liked us to be. We didn't want to fit into the mold, and I think that served us very well. It's it's been a harder, slower, longer grind to get to to where we currently are, and there's a long slog left to go, but that's just part of it. We don't do it for anything but the work itself and getting to make music, and the fulfillment that we really do wring out of this experience of being a touring band and a road dog band, and and every little success is hard won, and that, I think, in a lot of ways makes it that much more valuable.
Yeah. So how about the songwriting process between the two of you? Is there a set procedure there, or does it really vary from song to song?
It kind of varies from song to song, but Rebecca is the main songwriter for the band. She takes on a lot of the lyrics, and a lot of the ideas kind of start with her. Since she is the lead singer, it's a very personal thing. However, we do come together when we're putting the song together, like the final touches. That is always just the two of us.
Oh yeah, like it's really amusing actually to listen to first drafts of songs that I make, because that is one step we've taken in the last 2 records that we've made or I guess actually now that we've made the 3rd, it would be the last 3 records that we've made. We've started programming. I've started programming the majority of the sounds that you hear on the record. Megan and I play all the live instruments, but then for drums and bass and keyboards, all kind of flesh together these arrangements using, software on my laptop. And I'll play demos for, friends and family of songs that I've been working on. And they don't sound like Larkin Poe. They don't. It really is the combination between the two of us. When Megan and I then come together and, write the riffs and sing together, and Megan has her slide, that's when the songs that I've written sound like Larkin Poe. And I would not trade that for the world. Very thankful.
Is writing while you're on the road something you can do, or is that something you're best left to downtime?
I have this pie in the sky idea of really wanting to write on the road. And I think that as we continue to elevate our touring status, that'll be more possible. But, in recent history and in distant history in the band, we tour so hard and so lean and mean that I'm really having to preserve vocal capital on the road. So when you're having to wake up at 6 a.m. and drive 8 hours to then play a 2-hour gig and then drive, an hour or 2 after the show, I'll sing my voice out. And so I don't have that luxury right now of writing on the road, but I look forward to that. This most recent record that we just finished, we actually blocked a month of time to write, and that just felt like heaven on earth to have that much time to sit around and, make up songs. So
I do notice Rebecca gleaning information on the road. I see her. She's like, I see her listening to people, and I can see when there's like that little spark. It's like, oh, I heard what you just said in a conversation. I'm writing that down for when I am writing.
So your songwriter's radar is always up.
Oh yeah, we're absolutely unapologetic snoops and eavesdroppers and thieves when it comes right down to it.
Hey, I'm a massive fan of your Tip of the Hat series of videos. One thing they show is you both have impeccable taste in songs by your choices, and the joy that you have in playing them is so evident. They must be a lot of fun to do.
They are.
It is.
Oh my gosh, we have so much fun. It's really been a fun process to establish that series, because we didn't start off recording those videos to really share on social media. We did it more as a tool for Megan and I to keep learning. And oftentimes it's like, you have all these songs that you can half sing along with on the radio. When they come up, you're like, oh, I love that Fleetwood Mac song, or oh, I love that Z Top tune, and you start singing. But then if you try to do it by yourself, you realize it's kind of like Christmas carols. You maybe know the first verse and that's it. You start kind of thinning out by the time you get to verse 2. And it's been so fun to actually sit down and learn these songs and have them in the back of our heads, and have that continue to influence our songwriting process. And that people enjoy watching them, it means that much more. Like we posted 1 or 2, and they seemed to get so much positive feedback from people. Like people really seemed to get joy out of watching them, and so that was our motivation for carrying on. And it's such a blast. Like, I can't tell you how many times people come up to us at shows, and that's how they found us. They're like, I'm at the show tonight because I saw your so and so video on Facebook, and I'm so happy to be here, and I love your series. And that kind of connection is truly powerful, and one of the main reasons that I think the industry is changing so much. That direct contact between fans and artists, it's gold. It's so important.
Well, one thing those videos also show to me is that you've never lost sight of actually being music fans yourself. Even though it's a career for you now, you're still very much, at heart, very much music fans. Do you think it's important not to lose sight of that?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's very easy to become jaded. And there are times when, Megan and I are driving and we don't necessarily turn on music. We might listen to a podcast because you do need a break every now and again. And I don't think that's bad. But I think continuing to invest yourself in listening to music and playing and realizing what a gift music really is, because it's not food or water. It's not like a complete necessity, but it serves a spiritual purpose that I think is very important for humans in maintaining their humanity and in learning empathy and, expressing your feelings. And in that respect, I think it's one of the most important things. And I would never want to lose sight of that or to let it get played out. We've been so lucky to tour with incredible artists like, from Elvis Costello, Keith Urban, and Conor Oberst, like across the board, these people who are really successful and they haven't lost a spark. Like, when you see that kind of commitment from people who've been doing it for, 3 times as long as we have, I think they kind of light the road. That's the inspiration for Megan and I in keeping, everything in perspective and treating music as the gift that it is.
Another thing those videos show, and I'm sure this has been mentioned to you before, you both have an incredible collection of T-shirts.
Oh, yes.
It's getting there.
It is getting there. We have had some really kind fans give us some T-shirts after shows, and we love it. Oh my gosh, my husband is also a musician, and so is Megan's. And I have to say, my husband's T-shirt collection is epic, and he's been collecting T-shirts since he was 12, 13. And so any of the T-shirts that he grew out of from his, teen years, they're now mine, and I am not mad about it. I love it.
How have you found the experience of self-producing your own records? Have you found yourself pretty much on the same page during the production process, the two of you, or were there times where you did butt heads?
Megan, what would you say?
One, we love self-producing. I think when we made that decision with Peach, that was one of the best decisions we've made in our career so far. Just because we have such strong ideas for what we want the music to sound like, that I think that it was clouding up the vision by having another producer, another opinion in the room. I think this way has really distilled what we want our music to sound like. So it has been really great decision. It puts a lot more pressure on us, but it's like a good kind of pressure. And of course we do butt heads, but I think that we are, for the most part, very much on the same wavelength. So we can figure out exactly what we're looking for in the studio really quickly. When we are in the studio, it's just the two of us and an engineer. So we work really fast and in a way that's very satisfying. Like we just finished up our album, which is coming out in the spring, and it was just such a great experience. And love doing that with my sister. It's just coming out of this project, it feels so fulfilling.
Were you a bit reluctant at first to self-produce? Did you have to conjure up the confidence to give it a go?
I was very, very sure that that's what we should do. And Rebecca was not.
I was not. And I feel so happy that Megan, you were really headstrong about and insistent about us taking that step. And then also, interestingly, I do think that a lot of people who followed us on social media surrounding the Tip of the Hat series, they were also commenting and saying, oh, we love these videos. I'm listening to you on Spotify or, iTunes, and your record sounds so produced. And we want a record of just stuff like this, stuff like your Tip of the Hat series. And so I think seeing people again and again commenting that type of sentiment was also a really good, kick in the butt to give people what they were asking for as well. And that did, I think, provide a little bit of gunpowder for the confidence to get in there and, just take a whack at it ourselves. And I think you're right, Megan. Like, it's a really fulfilling process to work together. It's not always comfortable. Like, you know, we as humans, I feel like we like things to be known. Like, we want to have the answers. We want everything figured out and like tied up in a neat little package with a bow on top on the table. And I think creativity doesn't work that way. You know, you really have to. It's a lot more like stumbling around in the dark. But I do feel fortunate that because there are two of us, and we're both throwing ideas at arrangements and songs and lyrics and, you know, all the little fine details that ultimately make a record complete, that we're able to kind of stumble through the dark a little bit faster, which is nice.
Has it perhaps given you a taste to maybe go one step further down the track and look at producing other artists?
Ooh. We have talked about the idea of in the future doing it. I think we're so very consumed with Larkin Poe at this point. That's about all we can put on our plates at this moment. But I think it could be a very interesting thing to do in the future.
I could see it being interesting, but then also I struggle with the concept of telling an artist what to do, because yes, there are many of us, you know, it's really nice to have a third opinion. And I think between Megan and I, again, we are lucky that we have each other as a duo, because there's not just one opinion in the room. You know, there's some semblance of checks and balances in what it is that we're making. But I would struggle to get in the room, I think personally, with another artist and tell them what's right for them. I do think that that's part of the responsibility of being an artist. I mean, because the days of an artist, you know, a pop starlet rolling up into, you know, some big record exec's office and being told what to wear, what to do, how to act, and have the plan delivered to them. One, that's going away. And two, that's not really applicable for a lot of the artists that you're listening to on Spotify and YouTube or Netflix or Amazon Prime content, like where a lot of people are now finding their music. People got to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps and figure it out, because that's ultimately what's the most special, I think, when you hear someone's humanity.
Yeah. Now, great support of yours has been Elvis Costello. Tell us about first coming in contact with him, and in particular, what have you taken out of your association with him in terms of lessons learned?
Oh my gosh, we love Elvis.
We first met him at a festival called Merlefest back when we were 16, 17. We were playing on the same day that he was, and there was a big super jam happening on the main stage, and we ended up popping up to sing some harmonies for him on a gospel tune that we knew, and he really took a liking to our tenacity, and he like kept bringing us out on the road, more for features on songs here and there during his sets, and more we became involved with his tours until this his Detour tour, which was a solo performance, and we ended up opening the show as a duo, and then playing with him, just the three of us on stage. So in that show, we were very, very much involved, and it was such an amazing experience, just having a front row seat to watch him perform. And he is such a consummate performer and an artist and a writer and just an all-around amazing historian of music, that we feel really lucky that he kind of took us under our wing when we were so young, and him having faith in us to bring us up on stage in that manner really was a huge boost to our confidence as musicians.
Oh yeah. And I think another thing that occurs to me as well is, you know, our parents raised us to be very headstrong and individualistic in the way that we, you know, problem solve or think about ourselves, or, you know, how we want to do a job. And so I feel like all of the ideas that our parents instilled in us as children, Elvis Costello took us as teenagers and just like shone a light upon those little ideas, and they really took root. So a lot of, I think, our approach to making music and not being willing to put it in a box, a genre box, or to compromise on, you know, what type of songs we want to release. You know, we want to be free range musicians, you know, like we want to be able to do all the things and to make all the kind of records and not be confined in any way. And I think a lot of that mentality, if you agree, Megan, I think would have been, really championed by Elvis as well.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean, look
such
at
a good buddy.
he's just made every kind of record imaginable, just about.
Oh, he's reinvented
Yeah.
himself numerous times. Yeah.
Yeah, doing
which is-
musicals
which is-
now. Oh my gosh. It's so cool. He just won traditional pop vocal at the Grammys, and it was really fun. We didn't get to link up with him out in LA, but we've been emailing about it and just laughing at kind of the hilarity of the whole event. And it's just, he is a really classic and wonderful individual.
Now let's talk about the upcoming tour. Is it the full band coming down?
Oh yes.
Oh, good.
We love to deliver a rock outfit show to people. Like, we want to get people moving and dancing, and we wouldn't dream of coming down without a band.
And there's a new album in the works, so I guess you'll be road testing some new material too?
Yes, we are very excited. Yeah, that's why, we were speaking earlier about my voice being a bit tired because we've been in rehearsal all day, and we literally played the new record tip to tail, all the songs, and so we are really excited to debut a lot of these new compositions for people in the spring. And oh yeah, it's coming.
That's fantastic. So release-wise, where are we looking at with the new album?
I guess end of April, right?
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's
April
soon.
24th.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Not far away at all. That's fantastic.
very excited.
And just before I let you go, what else is in your books for the rest of 2020?
Oh man, we have
A lot of touring.
so much touring, and we're really excited. We're going to be going to India for the first time. We're coming back to Australia to see y'all. We have our biggest headline tour in Europe to date booked for the month of May, and we're just so excited to get out and see people. And I feel like we've learned so much in the past year that we spent out on the road in 2018, 2019, and getting to take some time off and make this most recent record. I feel like it's going to be a really good touring cycle, and we hope that everybody will come out and see us.
I see you booked on a Rock Legends cruise down the track not too far away too. That sounds pretty cool.
Who knew we were rock legends? We are now.
Yeah.
It's going in our bio.
That's right. Hey, Megan and Rebecca, thank you so much. It's been an absolute treat catching up with you. You're much loved down here in Australia, and we're all looking forward to the tour.
We can't wait to come back and see you.
So sorry about the internet connection, but I'm glad we finally got there.
Us too.
Yes.
It's
Thanks
such
for your
a treat to get
time.
to speak with you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. All the best. Have a safe flight, and we'll see you in April.
All right.
See you
see
soon.
April.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
All the best. Cheers.
Bye. Bye.